This is video 15 in a 15-part series on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And today we're diving into Chapter 15, The 6 Ghosts of Fear. Take a deep breath with me, because this final chapter is not only a conclusion, it's a challenge, a mirror, and a wake-up call. It invites us to face what may be the greatest enemy of prosperity, fear itself. Think about it. You might have the knowledge, the desire, even the opportunities to create wealth and freedom in your life. But if fear has you in its grip, none of that really matters. And the older we get, especially after the age of 40, fear can feel heavier. Maybe you've faced setbacks, lost money, or made decisions that didn't go the way you planned. Perhaps you've carried financial responsibilities for years, raising children, paying debts, supporting a family, managing obligations that seem endless. At this stage of life, fear can disguise itself as caution, as responsibility, or even as wisdom. But in reality, it may be the invisible chain holding you back from prosperity. Napoleon Hill describes 6 major fears, and though his words were written decades ago, they are still alive today, shaping our decisions, our mindset, and ultimately our results. Let's walk through them, not as abstract ideas, but as real ghosts that many of us have felt breathing down our necks, and more importantly, as barriers we can break. The first ghost is the fear of poverty. This one hits home for many people over 40. You may have dreams of prosperity, but the thought of ending up broke, losing security, or not having enough to retire can paralyze you. Poverty is not just about money, it's about dignity, freedom, and options. The fear of poverty whispers, don't take risks, play it safe, stay small. But here's the truth, prosperity doesn't come from hiding, it comes from movement. Imagine how many opportunities slip through your fingers every year simply because you let fear decide for you. To overcome this ghost, you must replace fear with faith. Faith in your skills, your ability to learn, your resilience. After all, at 40 or 50, you've already overcome so much. Why would money be the one challenge you cannot master? The second ghost is the fear of criticism. Think about how often this ghost steals your power. You might have a business idea, a plan to change careers, or even a dream to write a book or start a side hustle. But then you hear that voice. What will people think? What if they laugh? What if I fail and everyone sees it? At midlife, this fear can be brutal because it often comes from people closest to us, family, colleagues, even friends. But let me ask you, do critics pay your bills? Do they fund your retirement? Do they carry your responsibilities? Of course not. Allowing fear of criticism to control you is like giving strangers the keys to your future. Prosperity demands courage, and courage means being willing to move forward even if others don't understand. The third ghost is the fear of ill health. After 40, health becomes a bigger part of the equation. Maybe you've felt the stiffness in your body, the slower recovery, or the growing list of checkups and prescriptions. And while it's natural to care for your health, fear can exaggerate it into paralysis. Some people stop chasing opportunities because they're afraid of stress, of effort, of, what if I get sick? But here's the paradox. Stagnation is often more harmful than movement. Prosperity is not just about financial wealth. It's also about energy, vitality, and joy. If you let fear of illness shrink your life, you create the very weakness you fear. The way out is not to ignore health, but to strengthen it daily, through habits, mindset, and belief in your own vitality. The fourth ghost is the fear of loss of love. Now, this one often works in subtle ways. You may fear that pursuing prosperity will upset relationships, that your spouse or partner won't support your ambition, or that success will distance you from the people you love. Sometimes this fear shows up as jealousy, dependency, or the belief that money and love cannot coexist. But let's be honest, true love supports growth, not stagnation. If someone truly cares for you, they want to see you flourish, not shrink. And if your pursuit of prosperity threatens someone, maybe the problem is not in your ambition, but in their insecurity. At 40 and beyond, it's time to release the idea that love means limiting yourself. The fifth ghost is the fear of old age. This ghost whispers cruel lies. It's too late. You missed your chance. Younger people are faster, smarter, more tech-savvy. Why bother now? But let me remind you, some of the most remarkable achievements in history came from people past 40, 50, even 70. Age is not the enemy. Fear of age is. Prosperity has no expiration date. What matters is not the candles on your birthday cake, but the fire in your spirit. And here's the truth. People over 40 have an incredible advantage: experience, resilience, and perspective. You already know the cycles of life, you've seen failure and recovery, and you've built wisdom that no 20-year-old can buy. Instead of fearing age, use it as leverage. And then comes the final ghost, the fear of death. It may sound distant, but this fear influences many financial and life decisions. Sometimes it appears as procrastination. Why bother? One day I'll be gone. Other times it appears as desperation, clinging so tightly to money that you forget to live. But here's the liberating truth. Death is inevitable, which makes life priceless. When you understand this, prosperity becomes more than numbers in a bank account. It becomes the ability to live fully, to create a legacy, to make each day count. Instead of fearing death, let it remind you that now is the moment to act. 6 ghosts: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. They may look different for each of us, but they share the same root. They all thrive in the mind. Fear is not outside you, it is inside you. And because it is inside, you have the power to face it, starve it, and replace it. Now, let's bring this home to the financial journey after 40. Many people reach this stage of life carrying wounds from the past: failed businesses, debts, missed chances, or years of playing it safe. They look at their future and feel the clock ticking. And that's exactly where fear grows strongest, when you think you've run out of time. But listen closely. It is never too late to rewrite your financial story. The only time you truly run out of options is when you surrender to fear. Think about the opportunities of today. Technology allows you to start businesses with minimal cost. Knowledge is accessible everywhere, from books to courses to mentors. Entire industries are opening for people who bring wisdom, maturity, and trustworthiness. Your past may explain where you are, but it does not define where you're going. What defines you is the decision you make today to walk through fear instead of bowing to it. Hill emphasized that the most dangerous thing about fear is that it robs you of initiative. Fear makes you postpone, hesitate, and retreat. But prosperity requires boldness. Not recklessness, but boldness, the ability to take a step forward even when the path is not perfectly clear. After all, how many times in your life did you figure things out only after you started moving? Prosperity works the same way. Let me share a practical reflection. Imagine standing on the edge of 2 paths. One path is paved with fear. You hold back, you stay quiet, you tell yourself you're being realistic. That path looks safe, but it's actually full of regret. The other path is paved with courage. You invest in yourself. You try new approaches. You believe you still have time to prosper. That path looks risky, but it's actually the only one that leads to freedom. Which path will you choose? The truth is, every person over 40 has ghosts. Maybe you've felt the cold hand of poverty. Maybe you've heard the sting of criticism. Maybe you've worried about health, or love, or age, or death. But prosperity begins the moment you stop running from those ghosts and start walking straight through them. Because once you face fear, you realize it was never as powerful as it pretended to be. So here's my invitation. Do not let the 6 ghosts of fear dictate your future. Choose faith over poverty. Choose courage over criticism. Choose vitality over sickness. Choose love over insecurity. Choose wisdom over the illusion of lost time. Choose life over the shadow of death. If you do this, you'll unlock not just financial prosperity, but a deeper prosperity, the kind that fills your days with meaning and your heart with peace. Did you enjoy what you heard and want to dive even deeper into the topic? The link in the first comment below will take you straight to the next level. And if this video made a difference for you, give back by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing with the bell on.